Hello, welcome to Shareability Uganda. My name is Kaziwa Pius, and in our online self-study lesson today, we shall be looking at mixtures. This is P.5 science. We shall be defining what a mixture is, which is when two or more different substances are mixed together, e.g. when we mix sand and cement to get concrete blocks, when we mix sugar and water to get a solution. That is a mixture. Dissolving substance or solutes, these are substances that dissolve when put in water or in liquid after stirring. When put a substance in a liquid and then you stir, you are dissolving the substance in the liquid. Examples of solutes include sugar, salt, milk powder, maize flour, etc. Those are what we call solutes. We have soluble and insoluble substances. Insoluble substances are those that don't completely dissolve in any liquid or water. For example, sand, maize flour, and stones. When you get sand and put it in water and then mix, however much you'll mix, that sand will never dissolve completely in water. That is what we call an insoluble substance. Then a suspension is a substance where the solute does not completely dissolve in the solvent. So mixing an insoluble substance in a liquid forms a suspense. Why? Because an insoluble substance will not completely dissolve in a liquid, forming a suspension. Then a solvent is a substance in which a solute dissolves. A solvent is a substance in which a solute dissolves. When you get sugar and put it in water, sugar is a solute, and the water that is going to dissolve the sugar is what we call the solvent. Examples of solvents include water, petrol, methylated spirit, and other forms of liquid. Water is a universal solvent because it almost dissolves all solutes. Water almost dissolves everything, so that is the reason it is called a universal solvent. Then a solution is a uniform mixture of a solute and a solvent. I'll keep on referring to sugar and water because it is a common process that we almost do at home, or our parents do, or our elders. A uniform mixture of a solute and a solvent. For example, if I get sugar and put it in hot water and stir very well, you will not see the sugar. It will have completely dissolved in the water, forming a uniform mixture, which is a solution. Then a saturated solution is a solution which dissolves more solutes after heating it. For example, like posho and then hot water. Maize flour and hot water to make posho. That is a saturated solution because it dissolves more solute after it has been heated. Then a supersaturated solution is one where is a solution which cannot dissolve any more solute even after heating it. For example, when you get gravel is those small stones that they use for building and constructing roads. When you get gravel and mix it with water, even if you heat it, it will not mix completely, or the water will not dissolve the gravel. Therefore, that is what we call a supersaturated solution. We have methods of separation of mixtures. We have method number one, which is filtration, which is the process of separating solid particles from a liquid using a filter. The solid particles that remain in the filter are called the residues, whereas the liquid that passes through is called the filtrate. We have we have an illustration of how filtration is done. You see the filtrate and then the residue. Filtration can be applied in homes or our homes when separating passion orange fruits, when separating clear water from muddy water. And then we have another method, which is decantation. It is when solid particles are allowed to settle at the bottom of a liquid, then a liquid is carefully poured off to separate it from the solid particles. Like in the diagram below, you can see the brown substance, the mud, and then that blue substance is the liquid. You can see the mud has settled down the beaker or the containers, and then the liquid is being poured gently into another container, separating both of them, which is a method called decantation. The solid particles that remain in the container is called a residue, whereas the liquid that is collected in another container is called the decanting. How decantation method can be applied in our homes when separating orange, passion, and etc. fruit juice from the seeds. The seeds are left to settle down, and then the juice is poured gently into another container. Then when separating clear water from muddy water, as illustrated in the diagram, why do you think it is important for one to first shake a syrup before taking it? See those small bottles of syrups. When left in clinics before purchasing them, those medicine are a mixture of several solids, several substances, as we have defined solids and solvents. So to form a solution of the medicine, they are mixed out of several substances. So these substances, when the syrup stays in the clinic for a long time, the substances settle down. So it is advisable you first shake the medicine before taking it, so that the medicine mixes well with the liquid that has settled at the top. Then distillation is another method, which is the making of that water pure by evaporating and condensation. Distilled water, however, is not good for drinking because it does not contain all the mineral salts. The substance that remains in the container is called a residue, and the substance that is collected in the second container is called a distillate. Distilled water is used to mix drugs in hospitals. Why? Because it does not contain a lot of minerals or chemicals to react with the medicine or the drugs. This is an experiment showing how distillation process is done. We can see a kettle being put on fire, and when water boils, it travels through that tube which you see. When water boils, it evaporates. After it has evaporated, that water vapor travels through that tube and it goes down into this container where you see cold water is coming from another tube C. That cold water then helps to condense the water vapor which is in that tube, and when it has condensed, it is collected in the third jar, which is down on the ground. That is how distillation happens, or it is how it is done. Then separation of mixtures of solids. How do we separate mixtures of solids? Remember, with solids, it is not a solution. It is just a mixture. So we can separate this by three common methods, where number one is flotation, which is the method of separating mixtures where one sinks at the bottom and the other floats. So you can pick the ones at the top and then remain with the ones at the bottom. Then another method is using magnets to separate mostly metallic objects from non-metallic objects, and then hand picking or sorting. For example, a mixture of beans and stones. You can separate beans from stones by picking them, hand picking or sorting. That has been that. Thank you for watching. We have looked at mixtures, solutions, solvents and etc. And please, if this is your first time, please consider giving us a like and hitting that subscribe button. You help push the channel and help encourage us to make more videos which help our learners to get more content. Even those in remote areas but can access internet can get some quality education. Thank you. God bless you.